Hi everyone, it's Dr. Peel. I just wanted to take a moment to review where we are as we round out the end of week 2 and look at what we've covered in week 1 and 2 and prepare for your assignments and your learning that's going to happen online in week 2 since it is a hybrid course. First of all, let's recap. We've gone over the ISTE standards and you've had the opportunity to take a look at and do a deeper dive into the first 4 standards. So we've looked at the empowered learner. We've considered what it means to be a digital citizen. We've also talked about knowledge constructor, and these are the groups that you worked in when you did your deeper dive in class. And finally, we looked at innovative designer. We then went on to talk about the concept of learner-centered or student-centered and define that and look at examples and non-examples. This can be with or without technology, but we talked about when you have a learner-centered classroom or a student-centered classroom that it's more student-friendly and the technology and the use of technology and discovery will happen organically. The teacher should take on a role as a facilitator of the learning and allow the students to explore through technology. We'll be practicing this again as the course continues, and I'll show you examples and engage you in student-centered learning. Another topic that we explored in class this week was the digital divide, and you did a jigsaw activity where you got to understand the concept better through written work. In your online portion of the course this week, I expect you to watch the documentary, which really gives you the emotional aspect and a context in the United States for what the digital divide looks like. You'll be writing in your blog about this, so be sure to consider all of the information, the thoughtful discussions you had in class, as well as the documentary when composing your blog. This is your second blog that will be added to your website, and this one will be about the digital divide. You should review the materials in class in the week 2 folder, assignments, for details of what the expectations are and the rubric for scoring. That brings me to what's due this week. What sort of learning activities will you engage in the online portion of the hybrid course to enhance what we've done in the classroom portion and prepare for additional learning? First of all, you're going to do the blog, as I talked about, writing about the digital divide and answering the questions thoughtfully based on all of the information that you've learned this week, including the documentary you will watch. Secondly, you're going to do a learner-centered discussion board, and the prompt is written there in the discussion board as well as the week 2 folder. Be sure to log in and submit your first post by Friday so that you have time to get full credit for complete interactions. In this week's discussion board, you are expected to respond to others. So please review the guidelines carefully and the scoring rubric so you can receive full credit. A big part of that is logging in and getting one post in before the weekend so that everybody will have something to respond to. I will also be engaging with you in the discussion board, so please check back in and answer my questions or push your thoughts a little further based on my comments and those of your classmates. Then you're going to add a third component to your website. Currently you have your home page, which is the landing page. You have your blog that should have your first blog and will include your second this week. And this week you're going to also add a page or a section called tools or resources, whatever you want to label it, where you keep a running list of all the different tools that you think you'd like to share, that you've used, that you learn about, things that you want to have on your website that you can go back to and refer later when you're teaching or in other classes that you take. So you're going to do a review of 2 tools this week. The first one is looking at how to make teachers more efficient. And in your course materials, you'll notice that the materials are organized to have readings and multimedia to review for Tech Tool 1 assignment. So this involves the Google features that are here. It also offers some basic organizational features. So if you're not at the level that you're using apps to stay organized, maybe you want to take a look at some of the ideas surrounding cloud storage, organizing and naming your files, just the basic structure of folder systems, anything that you may be using and not really understand the capacity of what you could do with it, for instance, with Microsoft Word. That's the first tool, and you'll look carefully at the assignment details to see that you need to include images, you need to include details, pros and cons, and write a short write-up about the actual tool and how it could be used. The second tool is a tool that you're going to use, and the readings and multimedia here are more surrounding student engagement. So the first one looks at teacher efficiency. The second one looks at how are you going to engage students. There are some reading and ideas here. Some of these videos we actually watched in class when we looked at levels of engagement. The one with Poplets and students using a tool to capture images of G words in a kindergarten classroom. We looked at the Plickers tool. We looked at the Socrative Quizlet tool where the teacher used all of the different tools to teach her students about soil. There's a list of other tools here that I'd like you to review and choose one that you'd like to try out. You may have seen these used in your classroom already. You may have used these yourself. This is a great way to capture what you know about this resource, and that will be the second entry on your page under resources or tools or whatever you label it. So I think that's all we need to cover for this week. Please go carefully through each of the assignment details and read what the expectations are so that you can earn full credit and show me what you're learning.